Hello, my name is Jennifer Shuck, and I am the chair of the Global Alliance of Speech to Text Listening. I use the pronouns she, her, and I have a blue shirt on today, red curly hair with black framed glasses, and a blurred background. Joining me today is Orla Pearson, one of our newest board members.
Hi, my name is Orla Pearson and I am the director of My Clear Text, which is a captioning company that works from the UK and works internationally as well. I'm also director of Access Loop, which is a platform that allows you to add live captioning, closed captioning, sign language, and soon to be audio description onto virtual and hybrid events. I am a middle-aged white woman with a natural grey hair and some rather large grey-framed glasses.
Orla,
and I'm wearing a blue stripy top, but you can only see the blue.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I was hoping to get a little bit of your background, which you've already described, and we want to let both of our members know, as well as the general public, what your connection is to the captioning profession.
Okay, so I trained as a court reporter in Ireland. I'm Irish, in Dublin. It was the only court reporting school in the whole of Europe at the time. I moved to London and I worked in the law courts and the High Court there for about 2 years, but I didn't like it. So I phoned the BBC, which is the main public channel in the UK, and I said, "Have you got a job?" And they said, "We do, actually." And I was very lucky to be employed and taken on by the BBC, and I started there on my 23rd birthday, which is a very long time ago. And I worked with them for 15 years, and I became an assistant producer there, and I managed a team of 24 stenographers, and we basically went from 5% of output on the BBC live output to 100%, and then that was watching TV go from kind of pre-prepared packages into fully live TV, satellite television. You know, people stopped recording stuff and it was live on the ground. We captioned all sorts of types of programs and things like cooking programs, drama. We captioned live, elections. Princess Diana, I always remember getting the phone call in the morning saying, "Can you come in?" 9/11, we were working 20 hours in a row. And we were really, it was a fabulous time to be involved in captioning because we were exploring what does the audience need? What does a deaf audience need? What do the people who are using these captions need? So with the sport, it was, do they need every single word, or do they, because of the technical difficulties, there was a delay in the captioning, which meant that the captions were out of sync with the action. So we developed a thing where we said we would only do the comment, not the commentary. So we wouldn't say A passes to B, we'd say A passes to B. We would leave that and say signature move by A. He always does that pass. He's done 25 of those. So we were giving people the information they needed that reflected what was on the screen. Children's programming, understanding that deaf children's reading age was lower, and while the language had been lowered, we needed to lower it again. So as captioners, we were making those decisions and thinking about all those things. After I left there, I started my own company because I really love tech. I'm a total geek and really wanted to bring new tech and new ways of doing things to the market, and to really get involved with that and get involved with clients and help them to understand all of the options, and then therefore improve the kind of experience of the end user, which is the people who need the captions. So yeah, and then Access Loop is just a natural extension of that because I solved my own problems, all the difficulties I was having. In the UK for closed captioning, very few people have the software to do closed captioning. So we created a solution where you didn't need to have special software. You just needed to be able to write to a stream text account, and then we could deliver closed captioning, and just really enjoy developing that more and more, not just for deaf accessibility, but every kind of accessibility.
Well, you have a very wide range of experience. But what I hear in all of that, from your time at the BBC to your business now and creating Access Loop, is that it was always with the consumer end user in mind.
Always.
Super important.
Very much so, and something I spend a lot of time talking to clients about. I advise lots of people about captioning, but I also advise lots of people about why they're providing those captions and the huge audiences that are for captions, not for the 1 or 2 people they say have requested it, but for all the other people who use captions, older people, neurodiverse people, people with English as a second language. Just anybody under the age of 25 is obsessed with having captions on things. So really helping them to understand the business case and why they're doing it, and giving them tips, you know, about how to do that, giving them confidence and empowering them to then get behind adding accessibility. But yeah, always the end user. They're the important people in all of this.
Absolutely. Without them, this would not be a profession.
Mm.
Can you tell me, how did you learn about the Global Alliance and why did you want to be a part of it?
I kind of heard about it from you and from Kimberly Shea as well, who's also very much involved. And I think you guys were chatting to myself and one of the directors at Access Loop around helping out in one of the events to deliver the captioning and other things. And I started reading then about it and got really interested in it. And I have been a part of some of these kind of organizations in the UK, but it's a much smaller market. And I was really interested in the passion behind the quality of captions, which is definitely a passion of mine, and really being able to contribute to that. So that was really why I got interested in it. And I liked the scheme for testing people. I think that's really important, to give people a standard that is a guaranteed standard that you can have confidence in and that you can use to show people what kind of standard that you have reached. So they were the things that really, really appealed to me, and that passion as well. So I have great passion for this, and it was good to see other people with the same kind of passion. You know, in my clear text, we have our own testing, because some of the testing isn't always what you need or what you want. So as a captioner, I train people at the BBC. I know what I'm looking for, and we give everyone a test who comes to work for us, and no one ever minds.
The NCSP is definitely a real world test. It is representative of the job that we do every day. And there is no other profession that I'm aware of that doesn't have certification in terms of professions that are at a professional level that deliver. Mm-hmm. And we deliver a very personal service, and it impacts jobs, it impacts lives, and it absolutely have a standard, and the NCSP has that standard.
Yeah. And I think what I find quite interesting is I find I hold myself and all of my captioners to a very high standard, but it's interesting, we've talked about this with AI, it's just not, which is automatic speech recognition, it's not held to any standards at the moment, and I think it should be. You know, if it's making the claims that it's making, then take the test.
Absolutely. And the NCSP crosses all methods. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Or voice or ASR. So
it's the end result that matters. How you get there is entirely up to you. And I feel very strongly about that. We use voice writers, we use captioners, but everyone has to be of the same standard and produce. You should not know what you're watching when you're looking at our captions.
Agree, 100%. So to that end, what would you like to see the Global Alliance accomplish in the next year?
I mean, I'd like to see more people joining. I'd like to see more captioners joining and getting involved. You know, I know everyone's busy. I get that. But, you know, our profession matters. It really, really matters. And, you know, people are out there fighting for your profession. They are highlighting your profession. They are professionalizing your profession. And join in and give some of your time, some of your support. And, you know, no, you don't have to be on the board of directors, but you can be a member. You can take the tests. You can, attend the events, all of those kinds of things. And I'd like to see more of that. I would like to see really tackling the whole automatic speech recognition and highlighting the quality. If it's the right quality, brilliant, welcome. That's how I feel. But if it's not, let's just say it's not. And then people can work around that. With my clients, if they want to use that and they want to use captioners, I say, great, you want to use automatic captions, then you need to give the slides in advance. You need your speakers to really signpost when they're moving topics, so that if the ASR isn't working, that they're signposting the direction of the conversation, which gives people more of a chance. And let's just be honest about it. I've seen all sorts of claims from all sorts of massive companies that are obviously pushing this, but let's be honest, they're not true. I've seen 98% bandied around. I know what 98% looks like. It's amazing, and it's a human. It is not automatic speech recognition. So yeah, I'd like to see that kind of message, and that just start to kind of honest reviewing of that kind of thing.
We definitely have a lot of education to do. It takes all of us. And when I say us, I mean not only captioners, I also mean consumers, which is why the Alliance has everybody represented on our board. And
that was definitely something that attracted me to the Global Alliance, was the fact that you had users of captions on board, and they play a huge part in it. And I think it's really important, because sometimes I call myself an expert, but I lack one thing, which is I am a user, but I'm not a user. And it's really important to remember that what I think isn't always what other people want.
And with hearing loss, there are no boundaries, and what works for one person doesn't work for the next.
Absolutely.
Very customized. So, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope we have inspired a couple of people to take a look at what the Global Alliance stands for, what we're wanting to do in the next year, and I hope they will join us. But I'm also super glad to have you on board.
I am too.